Hey, welcome to a great day. We're going to be going ahead and creating this object. See, this little boy is walking on the train tracks. Probably not good, but it's a pretty cool shot. And it's going into a camera. So I'm going to kind of show you how to do this. You can see roughly how many layers we have kind of going on. All right, we can kind of close these windows to help you out so you can see what's happening. All right, so we're going to kind of get started with it. All right, so we have the three images here. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the camera, and I'm going to go ahead and crop it. So we're going to kind of come in here. All right, I kind of want it even. So what I'm looking at is this little triangle in here and that little triangle. Make like these little triangles. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit return, or I can hit this little checkbox, either one. And then what I'm going to do is I want to darken it up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here. I'm going to go down to curves, and I'm going to adjust these curves. And this is called an S curve. So bring this down a little bit, bring this up a little bit here. All right. So that's called an S. I think that looks like an S. All right. And then the other thing what we're going to do, I want to darken in here quite a bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. And I'm going to go to brightness and contrast. And I'm going to I'm looking at where I want the shadows to be. Okay. So I'm going to kind of pretty dark. All right. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to fill this in with black. Okay, so on your keyboard, as long as this is white at the top and the background is set as black, if you hit Command Backspace, it'll fill it in with black. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and use the paintbrush. Okay, and we're going to fill in this area. Okay, with that dark color that we set it to. All right, and you can notice here I'm only bringing down, say, 20%. I'm drawing in the darkness. All right. So I'm revealing this layer, this brightness and contrast layer. Okay, so I'm making it quite a bit darker there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and insert our tracks. I find that the easiest way is make sure our rulers are on. So Command R brings rulers, view rulers. It's the same thing, Command R. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to grab my ruler and drag it right to that edge. Okay, which is in. And then on the top, I'm going to grab that all the way down there, right to that point. Okay, I'm going to zoom back a little bit. Zoom back. Okay, you can get rid of the properties. I'm going to go ahead and click on the marquee tool. I'm going to click on the intersection and drag it to the opposite side. Okay, until we get that perfect circle we're looking for. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and make a new layer. And I'm just going to fill it in with a random color. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit Option, Backspace. And just so happens to be this kind of peachy color. We can go ahead and get rid of these lines. That's just to kind of make that circle. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and grab now the railroad tracks. So I'm going to hit Command A. I'm going to use my move tool and drag it over on top, like you see here. Okay, zoom back a little bit, zoom out. I'm going to free transform, so Command T. I'm going to bring that down a little bit smaller. So you got to hold down Shift and Option at the same time to keep it proportioned. Okay, and let's bring the opacity down. So I'm adjusting opacity here. On your keyboard, you hit 4, it's 40%. 6 is 60%. 9 is 90%. Okay, so just kind of see where it lines up. So I'm going to bring this a little bit smaller. Okay, something like that. Okay. we're going to go ahead and click on the command on your keyboard. Click on this little layer that we used. That will select around that. Okay, and we're going to want to go ahead and click on the masking layer. All right, we're on this layer here. We're going to go down to the masking layer. Click on that, and that masks around. Actually, it's not really centered. So let's center this a little bit better. So I'm nudging it over with my keyboard. Okay, I like that better. So I'm going to hold on Command, click on that little circle. That selects that circle. And we're going to go ahead and click on the masking layer, and that masks that out. And we're going to bring that up to 100%. Okay, and this circle we don't need anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and just put it in the trash can. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that layer again. I'll come down and duplicate it. Okay, we're going to erase this completely. So we drag that to the trash can. Okay, hit delete. Okay, and we're going to just grab this railroad track, the outside part. So the easiest way we're going to do is going to grab the polygonal lasso tool and click the edge of the track. And we're going to mask it. Okay, so you can see that we use this track and we use that track. Okay, all right, now you can see my edge right here is not complete, so I'm going to crop it a little bit more. So I'm going to bring this, crop it up. Okay, accept it. Great. Now what we're going to do is you can see that the depth of field here, like from the lens to the can where it says Canon, it's a little bit blurry. And so we're going to need that blur up in front here because we really want this area. You can see like even down in here is kind of blurry. So you can see that what's in focus is just in this area. So we're going to kind of have to replicate that on the track. So the easiest way to do that, we're going to go to filter. We're going to go to blur, and we're going to go to tilt shift. And this tilt shift is between here and here is in focus. And from here to these dotted lines and beyond, it becomes more and more out of focus. So I'm going to bring that down here. Okay, you can see how it affects. So we could drag this. If you hold on shift, it kind of keeps it locked. All right. And this is the amount of blur. Okay, we could drag this all the way up. That's kind of crazy. All right, until it kind of matches. And I'm looking down in my ground here to see how much it is out of focus there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, so there you go. We're getting there. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to create this like light that kind of comes in here. We really want the light to, because it looks kind of fake right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get my my brush. So you can hit B for brush. Make sure it's a really feathery brush, okay, like 0. Okay, you can kind of see the size, you know, and then control the size on your brackets on your next to the P on your keyboard. You can hit those brackets. Okay, and we're going to make a new layer. We're going to select this kind of coming down in here and kind of this like darker orange kind of color. We're going to just kind of give some orange in here. It looks kind of crazy right now, but if we go down where it says normal and we use color dodge, it kind of blends that in. All right, we kind of get that. We're going to go ahead and grab another layer. We're going to grab something a little bit lighter. Okay, maybe a little bit smaller. We're going to set this one to screen. Okay, that kind of, and we're going to have some spill that kind of comes out. So I can create a new layer even and kind of bring this out. We're going to set that to color dodge. No, overlay. Yeah, overlay looks good. Okay. Don't go too crazy. It might be a little bit too much. I kind of step back. I'm stepping back on my keyboard, so I'm hitting Command Option Z. That goes back in my history. Let's go back to overlay. All right, and I'm going to want to, on the tracks itself, I'm going to want to go ahead and put some color on there. So I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to create a clipping mask. Okay, so I only want it to affect this area. So I'm going to right click and create clipping mask. Okay, and I'm going to just grab that. And I'm going to set that to screen. Actually, maybe overlay for that one. Yeah, overlay. And down in here, I'm going to want to make that a little bit darker. So I'm going to grab the black and maybe only lay down. Let me just try a little lower and kind of go in and make that a little bit darker. Okay. Good. All right, let's go ahead and get that little boy now. We're going to come up and the easiest way to kind of zoom in, and we're going to kind of zoom in a lot. We're going to go ahead and click on the quick selection tool. Make sure we get the detail we need. Okay, kind of. Let's get his rest of his body here. His hand. His jacket. Now if it's not, now what you can do, like we want to get rid of this area here. If you hold on Option on your keyboard, it gets rid of that. Okay. And then if you don't hold on to anything, it just grabs it. Okay. Now, kind of couldn't get around the shoes, so I can go ahead and grab my lasso tool and hold down Option and circle around what we don't want. So we don't want this area. Kind of go around here. All right, so we got all that. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move this over. Oh, let's grab this area. There. Okay, so we can grab this, drag the little boy, and bring it onto our, and free transform it to make him a little bit smaller. Okay, so Command T, free transforms. Okay, he's like super bright right now, so we're going to want to bring him down. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the levels, and I'm going to adjust the levels. I'm going to want to apply the clipping mask on him, the little down arrow, so it's just affect him. Okay. Okay. There we go. Maybe make them a little bit smaller. We'll go here, free transform. Bring it down a little smaller. Okay. Now you can see that this light is kind of spilling on top of him. So we can go ahead and grab the dodge tool and just kind of throw some highlights on his shoulders, a little bit on the backpack. And we can enhance the shadows. Kind of go in and, all right. All right, now we're going to want to go ahead and now create the shadow. So I'm going to duplicate that layer. Okay. And wait, the clipping mask went away. Let's put that back on. We're going to free transform, so Command T, drag him. This is a shadow. If you hit Option click and, or sorry, Control click and go to perspective, kind of stretch them out. Okay. And we're going to, if you hit Command U on your keyboard to bring the lightness all the way down. Okay, and we want to soften the shadow, so we're going to go to Filter, Blur, and now Gaussian Blur. I'll kind of just adjust. Okay, and then instead of 100% of that shadow, we can kind of knock that down a little bit, and we can get our eraser and erase maybe 10%. Just erase a little bit, so we can, because as shadows go further away, they get less intense. Okay, and then for the final stage, what we're going to do is we're going to just create a new, go to curves, make sure it's on the very top, and let's put another S curve kind of going on here. Okay, kind of some touch in there. Okay, and there you have it.